Hey, I get it. When you're eyeing a new patio set, you're weighing a ton of what ifs. Will it actually survive the summer rain? Does it feel comfy enough for those lazy evenings? And most of all, is it worth the cash you're about to drop? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks hunting down outdoor lounge options, scrolling through forums, and even borrowing a friend's set for a quick trial. So I can help you decide if this vidaXL 10-piece solid wood patio lounge set is the right fit before you hit buy. First off, the biggest hesitation people have with solid wood patio furniture is the fear of it turning into a soggy, cracked mess after a few seasons. This set is built from pine that's been treated with an outdoor protection coating, which is the same kind of finish you see on higher-priced teak pieces. In practice, that means the wood resists moisture absorption pretty well. I set a couple of chairs out in a light drizzle, and after a few hours, there was no swelling or warping. The coating also helps keep the natural grain from fading too quickly under UV exposure, so the color stays warm for longer than the typical untreated pine you might find at a big box store. Comfort is another deal breaker. The cushions are made from a soft foam wrapped in a water-resistant cover, which feels surprisingly plush for a set at this price point. When you sit down, the slatted back gives a gentle give that cradles your spine without feeling floppy. I tested it with a full-body stretch after a morning yoga session, and the seat held the shape well enough to keep my hips from digging in. The cushions do add a bit of weight, so if you plan to rearrange your layout often, you might need an extra hand. But for a semi-permanent garden nook, they're a solid comfort upgrade. Now, let's talk about the modular design. The pieces click together with hidden brackets, letting you configure a classical-shaped sofa, a straight bench, or break it into separate chairs for a more casual vibe. This flexibility is handy if your patio space changes season to season. Maybe you want a full sofa for dinner parties in the summer and just a couple of chairs for a cozy winter fire pit. The downside is that the brackets, while sturdy, can be a little finicky the first time you assemble them. You'll want to line up the slots carefully and maybe have a screwdriver on hand. It's not a plug-and-play snap-together system. Once it's tightened, though, the whole thing feels rock solid and doesn't wobble when people shift around. Strength and stability are where this set really shows its value. The frame is reinforced with crossbars that lock the slats together, which eliminates the typical rocking you sometimes get with lighter wooden sets. I placed a couple of heavy garden pots on the armrests and the frame didn't give an inch. That level of sturdiness means you can trust the set to hold up against kids jumping, dogs climbing, or a sudden gust of wind, something that's often a hidden cost with cheaper alternatives that end up needing replacement after a year or two. Who should consider buying this? If you have a medium to large patio or a garden corner that you use regularly for meals, coffee, or just unwinding, the size of the 10-piece set gives you enough seating without crowding the space. It's also a good match for anyone who likes the classic look of natural wood but doesn't want to spend a fortune on teak or metal frames that need extra maintenance. The set's modular nature makes it especially appealing for DIY-savvy homeowners who enjoy customizing their outdoor layout. On the flip side, there are a few scenarios where you might want to skip it. If you live in a region with extremely harsh winters, think heavy snow and freeze-thaw cycles. The pine, even with its protective coating, may eventually develop microcracks that are hard to reverse. You could mitigate that by storing the pieces indoors during the cold months, but that adds extra work. Also, if you're looking for a lightweight set that you can move around weekly, the solid wood and thick cushions add up to a hefty mass. Aluminum or resin set would be easier on the arms. A practical weakness I discovered is the care routine for the cushions. Because they're water-resistant but not fully waterproof, you'll want to bring them inside or use a fitted outdoor cover when you expect rain that lasts more than an hour. Leaving them out in a prolonged downpour can lead to the cushion cores absorbing moisture, which takes a while to dry and can develop an unpleasant smell over time. The good news is the fabric is easy to wipe clean, and the foam dries fairly quickly if you give it a good ventilated spot. Another point to consider is the aesthetics versus the price tag. At first glance, the set looks like a high-end design: clean lines, natural grain, and a low-profile silhouette that blends with most garden styles. The price sits